Okay, this video is to practice solving multi-step inequalities. So here are 4 problems I just created. Go ahead and pause it if you need to. Copy these down. Give them a shot before I actually start showing you how to do some of this stuff. Here's the first one. Once again, pause it if you need to, and try it before I go over it. Alright, so the goal is to get x all by itself on one side of the inequality. I usually try to get rid of the smaller amount of x's, which in this case would be 3 x's versus the 4 x's on this side. That cancels out, or zeroes out is what I should say, the x's on this side, leaving you with just 2. It's less than x plus 1. You want the x all by itself, so we're going to get rid of the plus 1 on that side by throwing in the negative. That leaves just x on this side of the inequality. And you get 2 minus 1 is 1. So this is your solution. You graph this. If you prefer to have x on the other side, remember you can turn it around. X is eating. X is being eaten. You turn around, so x is still being eaten. These are the same thing. The number line would say here's 0, here's 1. You want everything that doesn't, or it doesn't include 1, but everything greater than, like this. Let's try the next one. Here you go. Pause it if you need to. Alright, so 8 gets distributed. You get 8x plus 8 is less than or equal to 7x minus 5, and then it's pretty much similar to the last one. You got x's on both sides. I generally try to get rid of the smaller amount of x's. You don't have to do that. This leaves x plus 8 is less than or equal to negative 5. Don't forget that sign in front of the number. It's part of that number. Now we got to get x all by itself, so I'm going to subtract 8 here, subtract 8 there. So x will be less than or equal to negative 13. If you're going to graph this, here's 0, negative 13 somewhere on this side. It's equals to, so you got to include negative 13. You want x is less than or equal to negative 13. All the numbers are less than negative 13, like negative 14, negative 15, negative 10, negative 20, negative 100, negative 1,000, negative 1,000,000. All those numbers are this direction. All right, let's move on to the next one. You can pause if you need to. This time we're going to distribute 5. So you got 5 times 3 is 15x. 5 times 4 makes 20. Minus 25 is all greater than. We're going to distribute the 6. 6 times 2 is 12x. And 6 times this negative 1 makes negative 6. Over on this side, you can combine some like terms. Don't do this thing where you try to do the opposite of 25 and add it with this, or subtract 20 and then try to subtract it from here. Just go ahead and put these two ideas together. 20 positives and 25 negatives. These are going to be more negatives, 5 more negatives to be specific. So 15x minus 5 is greater than 12x minus 6. Now it's just like the previous 2 questions. You got x's on both sides. I prefer to get rid of a smaller amount of x's. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. But if I did that, I'd be getting rid of 12x. 12x. This is 3x minus 5 is greater than, this is canceled, so negative 6. Don't forget the sign again. You want to get the x all by itself. So that means you're going to do what? This is a negative 5. You don't want it, so we're going to add 5. Leaving 3x greater than 6 negatives and 5 positives. When you cancel everything out, you got 1 more negative left over. You're going to do one more step, which you divide by 3. Undo that multiplication. Don't divide by this number. That wouldn't make sense. You want to get x by itself. 3 divided by 3, which technically makes 1x, is greater than negative 1/3. Don't say this answer is 3. Okay, so 1x is the same as x. You can say x is greater than negative 1/3. Sorry, that should be 3. And graph that thing. So here's 0. Negative 1/3 is somewhere on this side. It's going to be an open circle. Everything greater than negative 1/3. All the numbers that are bigger than 1/3, like 0 or 1 or 5 or 10 or 100 or 1,000,000 are all this direction. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Okay, so to solve this problem, you need to distribute -3 times both of these. So you got -3x. -3 times -1 makes a positive, or a +3. Then you're going to bring down a +2. It's greater than -2x plus 4. Okay, there's various ways you can go from here. I prefer to combine like terms on the same side. They're all on the left side of this inequality symbol. Some people will subtract 3. If you choose to use the opposite sign, subtract 3, you need to do it over here and subtract 3 from here. You could subtract 2. You'd have to subtract 2 here. Don't subtract 2 from 3. You don't want to subtract on the same side. You don't want to do opposites on the same side. Do opposites and put them on the other side. So I put these together. Looks like this. Okay, and then over here on this side, I still have -2x plus 4. Got x's on both sides. I would like to get rid of the smaller amount of x's. That's just me personally. You can get rid of the other x if you like. But smaller x is actually a -3. It's smaller than -2. So I'm going to cancel out this. -3 and +3 cancel each other out. So you're left with 5 is greater than or equal to 1x plus 4. You want to get the x all by itself as your eventual goal. So we're going to subtract 4. Subtract 4. This will 0 out. 4 negatives and 4 positives cancel each other out. So you're left with 1x on that side. And this is 5 minus 4, which is 1. Sorry, that's just 1. Okay. And now you could divide. Some people divide just mostly because they don't quite understand what they're doing. By 1, that would be canceling out these. But that's not necessary. So 1 divided by 1 is just 1x. And 1x is x. One more time. This step is not necessary. If you're doing this, please stop doing this. It's not necessary at all. 1x is x. Okay, so there's your answer. If you don't like x on that side and you want to switch it, you can make it like this. Remember that this is eating. Here's your teeth. It's eating the 1, so we're going to change around so it still eats the 1. Your number line has 0. There's 1. It's a closed circle because of the equals. You want everything less than x. Is less than 1. There's your answer. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to help.